Hello and welcome back to Flute Bootcamp. In this lesson, we're going to learn a very special exercise called octave jumps. So say with me octave. Ready? Octave. So octave, like octagon or octopus, has something, as you might have guessed, to do with the number 8. In this case, an octave is the distance between two notes that are 8 notes apart. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but first we're going to start by reviewing our F. So that's our low F, so our G finger pattern with the left hand, and then as usual our pinky with the right hand plus our F key here. Okay, so make sure your right index finger's on the correct key, not here, not here, not the trill key. It's got to be right on this one right here. Okay, so that's our, we're gonna play our low F. Okay, so really slow, relaxed, gentle airstream. Okay, let's try it. Low F. Okay, and just as before, if you got the high F that sounds like this, that's totally fine for now. Continue to try to relax and slow down your airstream and use gentle air for the low F. We're going to go ahead and play that high F now, and then we'll get into the octave jumps. Okay, so let's reset our fingers for F, same fingering, but now we're going to play high F. So what you're going to do, if you were playing the low F before, you're going to make your air go twice as fast. Okay, and that should do the trick for you. So let's try it. High F, air is twice as fast as it is for low F. Ready? Okay, now if your F sounded different from mine, if it sounded higher, maybe your air was too fast. Okay, so slow down your air a little bit. If it's still sounding incorrect, review what we talked about back in an earlier lesson about the embouchure, this angle here, this rotation here. Okay, we don't want it to be rotated too far out or too far in, and so forth. So just check that and try again. So that's your high F. Now we're going to try to switch between those two Fs. Okay, so I'm going to start low and then go high. Okay, if you're one of those people who's having trouble getting the low F, you might want to start high and then try to go low. Okay, and we'll do that in a second. All right, so starting with low F and going high. So what we're going to do is we're going to play our low F, nice and slow, gentle air. We're going to hold that out for a couple seconds, and then I'm going to give you the signal, and bam, we're going to make our air go really fast to make that high F pop into place. Okay, so it's going to be one continuous sound. We're not going to stop and start the high F. We're just going to keep it going and make our air do the work for us. All right, here's our low F. Ready? Okay, so hopefully you caught my signal there when I went like that. That's the signal to go to the high F. Okay, so let's try that again. Low F, and then popping up to that high F. Ready? Now let's try it the opposite way. So let's start with our high F, fast air, and then when I give you the signal, we will slow our air down and make it and allow it to come down to the low F. Okay, here's our high F. Ready? So practice that both ways. Okay, those are called, again, octave jumps or octave slurs. And when I say slur, what I mean is we're playing both of the notes, the low one and the high one, with one continuous stream of air rather than two separate streams of air. We're connecting them together. Okay, we don't need to get too much more into that right now, but that's what that means. If someone talks about a slur, that means multiple notes played with one stream of air. The octave part, remember at the beginning we talked about how that's the distance of 8 notes. So if we count from F, so our low note, our starting note, and we count up to our high F, we'll find that that's a distance of 8. Okay, so remember for the musical alphabet, there is no H. So when you get to G, we start over again at A. Okay, so ready? Here's F, count with me, that's 1. G, next letter in the alphabet, that's 2. Remember from G we start over at A, B, C, that's 5, D, E, and F. So that's 8, that's why it's called an octave. So when you go from any note, for example in this case F, to the next F that's higher, that's going to be an octave. It's 8 letters of the musical alphabet apart. Okay, so practice those F octave jumps low to high and high to low until you're really good and comfortable doing that. And then I'll see you here in the next lesson.